Good morning, everyone. Oh, come on. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. How many of you were expecting Karen McKenzie to be here on the board? Okay, only one. Wow. Come on, guys. Well, anyway, Kieran's not here. Unfortunately, he had succumbed to a personal injury that made it incapable for him to actually travel across the seas. But I am the replacement. Thank you. All right, so who am I? I am Kartik Kanakasabesan. I am one of Karen's colleagues, and I'm also a product leader within the Atlassian platform team. The goal here today is to show you some cool, exciting updates that we've been working on for the last several months, and hopefully whet your appetite for what's coming out and down the pike. Like I said, Kieran's not here, but he did record a message that I'd like to go ahead and share with all of you.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. For those who haven't met me, my name is Kieran McKenzie. I'm the head of Ecosystem and Marketplace here at Atlassian. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you all to Atlas Camp 2025 here in Brussels. Unfortunately, I've had an incident with my lower back that has prevented me from flying, which is also why you're watching a video rather than me being on stage right now. I'm very gingerly moving around my house. I'm down to a walking frame and relearning some of the basic things. But I did want to send a quick message. I love this community. You are all incredible and inspiring people. Every day we hear new stories of people using Forge in incredible ways. And over the next couple of days, you're going to hear some of these stories. You're going to hear how some of the world's largest automotive companies are using Forge in their production pipelines, helping ensure our cars are safer and are built to the right qualities. You're going to hear how banking and finance companies are using Forge in their day-to-day businesses. You're going to hear how different companies are embracing apps, and it's all just so exciting. You know, you're also going to hear about the future. We're looking at what an agent-filled world looks like. In fact, I've been watching recently videos of the CEO of Microsoft and the CEO of OpenAI as they talk about operational agents or the agent change to the world of SaaS and what that means going forward. And these are things we constantly think about here at Atlassian. As we work with and listen to our customers, the need for higher bar of security, a higher bar of data storage, access to certain things. Customers are expecting more from us and more from you. And Forge is the platform that we believe is going to take us into that future. Much more flexibility, much more power. The theme for us internally as we think about it is the expansion of the ecosystem. We want everybody to be able to build and customize. We want everybody to be able to tailor that Atlassian experience to their unique position. And Forge, along with Rovo, along with agents, and along with your incredible apps built on Forge, is going to allow our customers to leverage our products to meet their needs, regardless of the horizontal or the vertical or the specific things they're trying to do. And this is the exciting part as I think about the future of our ecosystem. Let's expand beyond tools that make our products easier to use and move into a place where we are meeting our customers' needs outside the Atlassian toolset, around the Atlassian toolset. You're going to hear about the system of work. And I want you to be thinking about how you can bring context and knowledge and expertise to that system of work. Not for Atlassian's sake, for our customers' sake. See, the future of ecosystems is alive and rich, and we believe in a vibrant and thriving ecosystem. The agents and AI world that's coming down the pipeline only enhances that. I'm so gutted that I personally can't be there with you. to listen, to share stories, to talk more about what we're doing and where you're helping take this world. But I know you're going to have an amazing time. We've got some incredible speakers. We've got some wonderful sessions lined up, and I'm going to miss listening to your voices. So I'm going to be watching the recordings later, hearing many of you on this stage talking and sharing your stories. For now, I'm going to go and keep doing my exercises and my little bits of recovery. I hope to see you all at Team 25 or another event. In the meantime, go and have an absolutely incredible Atlas Camp 25. I'll leave you in the wonderful hands of the team. Au revoir. See you soon.
That man's a trooper. And thank you again, and just a round of thank you for everyone being here in Brussels. Place with world-class beer, chocolate, fries, and waffle. I mean, it's a smorgasbord with everything for everyone, right? Any of you here local? Show of hands? All right, well, thank you for hosting us. All right. Now, one of the great things about community, and especially when in a room where all the developers get together, is the exchange of ideas and energy. All right? And the fact that this is my first Atlas Camp, so I've only been in Atlassian for just over a year. So the fact that I'm actually now sitting within my, the people that I'm really comfortable with is an amazing feeling for me. And the fact that whenever developers get together, magic always happens. Now, in addition to that, when you work together, the key thing that actually really inspires me about looking at the developer community here at Atlassian is the fact of the willingness to share ideas. There are people in this room with deep expertise in a lot of areas and also newcomers. And together we meld our minds together to come and look at how we can go solve new and upcoming challenges together. All right? And I think that's one of the key things of why you folks are recognized in the industry as exceptional. All right, sorry, I'm still figuring out how the clicker works, apologies. All right, but anyway, one of the reasons why you all are exceptional in this case is the fact that all the tools and products that you go ahead and build on top of the Atlassian platform are still being used by 80% of the Fortune 500. That's a tremendous amount of impact. All right, and again, thank you all if I haven't thanked you already. All right, in the line of all thank yous, this event could not be possible without our volunteers. I'd like to go ahead and call out Georgie, Oliver, Matt, and Martin. Please stand up, a round of applause, because they actually reviewed all the content in the session, made sure the right voice of the developers were being expressed. Thank you, thank you. All right. And also, thanks to our sponsors, AWS and AppFire. They have their booth at the mezzanine level, actually just outside here, sorry, not mezzanine. But please swing by their booth. And if they actually find the fact that you've actually asked some valid questions, you might be able to score some swag. I don't know, I've heard. All right? So, what's in this for the week? I know Karen kind of succinctly summarized a lot of things that we're going to be doing across the course of this week. All right? First, we'll look at the future that we are going to go create together, all right? All the different opportunities that we have with AI, connected data, and new ways to go ahead and build on top of the Atlassian platform. Next, we're going to look at, the fact that this room here, I mean, it's amazing. The fact that the amount of knowledge capital that's been garnered over here around Forge is amazing, all right? You folks are the experts. And the time that we spent during the course of this week, it's only going to magnify during the course of the year. So that's the other part of what excites me about Atlas Camp and what we all can look forward to. And last but not least is the human connection. All right? Yes, we have Zoom. Yes, we have all these different ways of connecting. But the fact that we can talk to each other face to face, in some cases, call certain things a piece of garbage versus some things that are wonderful. And that's how developers speak, although they're a little bit, I'm being politically correct. All right? But the fact is we can actually have those rich exchange of ideas and concepts face to face actually is very meaningful. And please use that opportunity this week to take full advantage of that. Plus, there are also existing Atlassian teammates of ours that are going to be here as well. So, the world's your smorgasbord here. So let's get this journey started. All right? How many of you here know what system of work is? Just a show of hands. Okay. Pretty decent. So For those that don't know, this is the session where we'll start to at least kind of peel the multiple layers of the onion of exactly what system of work is. All right? So we'll start off talking about system of work, and then we'll take the next step and try to go and make it real. And this is where Tim would come on stage and talk about some of the key examples of how we're making system of work real for developers. All right? And then from there, we're going to take the next step and say, okay, well, now when we've gone ahead and done that, what does that mean from an enterprise perspective? All right? What are some of the concerns that we're running into? All right? Why are some of the enterprises that were very happy with our extensions in data center when we go to cloud, how does that game change? And what are we doing to help fortify and build that trust with customers to make sure that we continue to service them on a regular basis? All right, so let's talk about system of work. Now, system of work is grounded in the Atlassian mission, all right, which is to unleash the potential of every team. All right, yes, we did start off with software developers, but the goal has always been every team. Now, what exactly is system of work? It enables teams to align work to goals, plan and track work, and unleash the creative knowledge of an organization. All right? Now, when the system of work really works, it's transformative. How transformative, you ask? Building better rockets. All right? The problem was always solved before. Now we have cheaper, better ways to go to space. Closer to home on Earth, building better EVs. Finding medical breakthroughs. And my personal favorite, especially at midnight when I'm coding, ordering pizza. And the fact that it shows up 30 minutes prompt at my door. All right? All these things are manifestations of system of work. Now, the thing is, all these different organizations that I just shared have similar problems, similar challenges. All right? We have teams are at a very critical juncture where there's a litany of tools that they have to go deal with. All right? And this just adds more complexity and creates more data silos. All right? One of the things that I used to suffer as a developer is the cognitive overload. Imagine when you're not a technical developer or technical person dealing with the cognitive overload of multiple different systems and completely losing context of exactly what was the problem you were supposed to solve in the first place. All right? Now, while AI and distributed work are changing and reshaping the way work happens, this is a key thing that we need to continue to solve for. Now, Atlassian's portfolio of products, as you can see, meets the needs of technical and business teams. And these focus on navigating across various different jobs across an entire organization. Now, in particular, Atlassian has been very successful when it comes to working with leadership teams, software teams, and IT teams. But the dynamics are changing. All right? Now, work is not just the sole domain of these particular teams, but even in marketing, in HR, in finance, in government. All right? They're still using that same foundational layer. Knowledge is everywhere. It is not the domain of the few, but the domain of the many. And the way we're going to go ahead and tackle this is us, developers. You are the key. You make the magic happen. All right? We are going to be able to leverage the work that you do on top of the Atlassian platform and cater to all these different user experiences that we were not able to service before. And the way that's going to work is leveraging the Atlassian platform. All right? So here's an example of the Atlassian platform. At the bottom, we have the enterprise infrastructure, the common non-functional things, but these are all things that are very important. This is the connective tissue that builds all the different experiences that we're bringing to bear, such as automation, AI, search, Rovo. All those capabilities are all there itself. It's built on top of a common data layer, Teamwork Graph. And then we have our extensibility capabilities with compute, front-end storage, i.e. Forge, and also a framework of third-party connectors. Now, Graph essentially is a unique blueprint of how work gets done in an organization. We don't believe on building a walled garden, all right? And the Teamwork Graph is just not across Atlassian products. This is where folks like yourself come in. You bring in your capabilities, your data to enrich the graph. And that gets grounded in contextual work, the way work is tracked and delivered to organizations. All right? Now, if we were to take a level deeper further, We have various different third-party systems, which is a reality in every organization today. We now have a common connector framework that will ingest information from all of these different instances and then put them inside this graph. From where you'll be able to now query and also run actions. So we have a new module called Actions, or Forge Actions, which will now allow us to use APIs and allow Forge to call to external entities and then be able to run either call APIs or code, and then surface all that information directly inside Rovo. Now imagine the kind of experiences you're going to be able to go build. All right? And to that end, we're now announcing early access program that will be coming up very soon for this capability. So thank you all for being very patient with us. We had all the intent of exposing Graph to you all. It is coming, trust me. All right, so I kind of laid the groundwork there for Graph. But the reason why Graph exists is because of agents. How many of you have actually gone ahead and built Rovo agents so far? All right, thank you. All right, now the reason why this is important is because we believe in building consistent experiences across the board. So when we have unified search experience, AI, all these other things, these are powered by that Graph infrastructure. This also allows us to go ahead and put these AI teammates, all right? Human is still in the loop and human is still in control, but you now have these AI teammates that take advantage of this graph and understand, contextualize, and understand exactly how your organization works. And can also provide the appropriate level of insight as and when needed, all right? Now, this goes beyond just individual productivity, okay? When these things happen the right way, teams and organizations make a powerful impact. Now, agents are the future. By the way, anyone missed the memo on that? Just a show of hands. All right, agents are the future, okay? You heard Kieran talk about it in his remarks as well. But what's exciting is the fact that there's a level of autonomy that's coming in, all right? And that's going to have a ripple effect both today and in the future. And for me personally, it's very incredibly exciting to see what everyone in this room that's gathered here, what are we going to be building on top of the Atlassian platform when we build these autonomous agents and light up all these future experiences. So let's make it real a little bit, all right? Now, this is going to be the fictitious part where we're talking about a fictitious automotive company, all right? And we have Bradley. Bradley is the director of business applications, all right? This is basically what Bradley and team do. They basically manage the entire tool chain of their automotive company, okay? And they go ahead and use the Atlassian Cloud Platform to, again, plan and track work, Confluence and Loom to go share their knowledge, all right? Now, Jira isn't the only tool where their work happens. It also happens in their CAD software, all right? Now, in this case, Bradley and team, one of the things that their secret sauce is to go ahead and model all the various different angles that a vehicle could, let's say, operate depending on wind shear and others before it actually hits the production line. And even when they are in the production line, they're using Jira to go track that work, all right? So when a production line stops, for Bradley and team, or for the entire company, they're losing money, okay? So how do they go about keeping these two things aligned, all right? How can they go ahead and consistently keep track of their production work, but at the same time also understand if there are any significant changes that are happening in the vehicle design that could potentially impact production in this case, all right? So what does Bradley do? He goes ahead and talks to a solution partner. In this case, he meets Andrew. Now, Andrew is a bithead, all right? He always likes to stay on the closest bleeding edge of everything, all right? In this case, he happens to know Rovo, all right? Now, in this case, what happens is the fact that I can now build integrations with Rovo and bring them all in context of my work, all right? So because Rovo agents can now use that Forge action module and communicate outside, they can now bring in some of these questions that were invariably, like, for example, impact analysis. How do I know what version changed on the other system that could potentially impact the work that I'm currently doing in my Jira environment? Or should the Confluence table that I've currently got, should it reflect the latest differences between version 1 and version 2 of that particular diagram? All right? So now we see this bi-directional communication that is now enabled by Rovo. All right, so in his app, Andrew goes ahead and registers the following set of APIs. the current model. So what is the work that's mapped to the current model, all right? Being able to compare these different models, and then comment check. Because if there are comments in that model, clearly it's not going to production because they haven't been resolved. So anyone trying to go ahead and try to provision that vehicle in the assembly line, they're not going to do anything because we've got issues still. Okay? Now, Bradley's team, in this case, here's the demo. So they're sitting inside Rovo. Andrew's gone ahead and created this app called Design Inspector. All right, now within Design Inspector, there's some pre-canned prompts that are there. So let's find out all the different versions that are currently available in that CAD software that we can now surface within Rovo itself. And now, as you can see, it's now pulling all the version information directly inside Rovo, all in context. All right, you do not have to switch tabs. All right, and then in this case, we can also look at all the different changes that are now showing up. Okay, so now as an organization, if I want to look at what is the impact of that particular change, I have a clearer view. Along with that, all the different comments that are being had. So this is a light bulb moment for Andrew. Okay, the fact that we now have a Rovo agent that saves Bradley and team a lot of time in their organization, people to go ahead and clearly identify what vehicle models will have their appropriate production runs. They realized, hey, we're not the only ones here suffering from this. There are a lot of other folks in the automotive sector that need resolution of this particular problem. So Andrew goes ahead and lists that Rovo agent on the Atlassian marketplace. And it turns out it's wildly popular with the automotive sector. All right? This is exactly what we mean where you bring in and build that vertical expertise that Atlassian may not have. All right? On top of the Atlassian platform. And together, we'll be able to light up an entire industry. Now, the great thing is, ever since we GA'd Forge last October, we have close to 800 plus Forge agents that have been created in development. And 40 plus marketplace apps already have Rovo agents today. All right? Now, I'd love to tell you more, but I have Tim waiting in the wings who can tell you exactly what we've done and what's coming down the pike. Tim?
Thanks, man. Hello, Atlas Camp. How's it going? Everyone well? So I'm Tim. I'm an ecosystem solution architect at Atlassian, which is a bit of a new role. My role is to help partners and customers to be successful with our cloud developer platforms, most notably Forge. So Kartik just shared an exciting glimpse of the future. Custom Rovo agents are already transforming the way that customers work with our products. And now I want to share a little bit about how you can start to take advantage of that yourselves. Because there's more exciting news. We're making those Forge capabilities, like agents and all of the other unique modules we support on the Forge platform, accessible to every developer and every app. Because if you have an app on Connect today, does anyone have an Atlassian Connect app? A few people? Well, we want you, whether you're building on Forge or Connect, to continue to get the best that our platform has to offer in your existing apps. So let me show you how. This is a Confluence page that we're using to plan an upcoming ecosystem offsite. So at Atlassian, we build apps internally on the Forge platform to customize our Atlassian product site, Hello. And so this is a little app built on Atlassian Connect Express that provides a macro that lets you forecast the weather for a given location. Now, at the moment, it's just displaying the weather data in a fairly bland table format. But content generation is one of those tasks that AI really excels at. So let's go and build a Rovo agent into our Connect app to generate a more compelling experience for us. So to do this, we're going to need to go through a quick process to convert our Connect descriptor to a Forge manifest, so we can start using Forge modules alongside our existing Connect app. So that's our Connect descriptor there. We're just going to pop over to the terminal and run the Connect to Forge package, which is a one-shot process to convert our descriptor over to a Forge manifest. Now you can see it's gone and faithfully recreated our Connect modules in Forge's YAML syntax, but it's otherwise basically identical. So at this point, we actually have a valid Forge app. So we can go back over to our command line and run the Forge register command. So what this does is go and create a new app based on our manifest and register it with the Forge platform. So we'll give it a little name, we'll call it Weather Forecaster. And now we actually have an app, an empty environment deployed on Forge. And we're going to bind that to our existing Connect app in just a second. So once it's registered, we can actually go and deploy our app to the Forge platform. So the first time we run the Forge deploy command, it's going to deploy it into our new development environment that we've just provisioned. So Forge deploy runs some lint checks over our app. There's not much to our app there at the moment, it's just a manifest, and deploys it into our dev environment. But now we're actually ready to go and install it. So to install the Forge app, we run Forge install, and that prompts us to find out which site we should install it into. So we'll chuck it into Atlassian's corporate tenant, where our existing Atlassian Connect macro is. And because we've got our Atlassian Connect key registered in our Forge manifest, it'll actually bind those two apps together. Now you see it's also requesting a couple of scopes. So we've created scopes that map onto the existing Atlassian Connect scopes for Forge. And you'll see it's also requesting to exchange data with our Connect backend as well as part of that process. So now our app is actually running on both Forge and Connect. So we pop back over and refresh the page. Bam! It is exactly the same experience. So underwhelming demo aside, there's actually something kind of exciting happening here. So although our app modules are now being registered and managed by the Forge platform, the actual implementation is still provided by the Atlassian Connect framework in the product. So this actually means the process of switching over to Forge to manage your module registration is pretty seamless, and in fact, completely seamless from a customer perspective, and also very, very low risk if you are worried about dipping your toe into the Forge waters. But this does have a pretty profound impact on us as developers, because now we can include new Forge modules inside our Connect app by simply adding them to the manifest. So we'll pop back over to our IDE and build ourselves a Rovo agent to make our weather forecasting app a bit more useful. Now, when Kartik asked before, I think about half the room had built a Rovo agent before. If you haven't, it is super fun and also super simple. A Rovo agent module, just like other modules in Connect or Forge, has a key and a human-readable name and description, and then you have a prompt. So this is basically the context that gets passed to the agent before the prompt provided by the user. Now, you can go really overboard with complex prompts. I find with relatively simple prompts, you can still unlock quite a lot of value out of the Rovo agent infrastructure. So in this case, we're just going to tell it that it's a helpful assistant that's going to forecast the weather for us. Now, we're also going to need to build an action which is going to give our Rovo agent the ability to perform some interaction with the outside world. In this case, it's going to call the Open Weather Map API to get a weather forecast for a particular location. Now, actions are also pretty simple. You give it a description, you just give it a verb as well, so the agent knows what type of action it is. And then you also specify basically function arguments or a set of inputs. So this is the data that the agent will need to pass into the action in order to be able to execute it. So in this case, we're going to make it exactly the same as our macro. It's going to just grab the longitude and latitude of a particular location and then use that to forecast the weather. Now, there's just one more thing we have to add. By default, Forge apps can't interact with external APIs. It's part of the data privacy approach that we've taken with the Forge platform. So we also need to add a new API for Open Weather Map to our fetch list. And this will tell the Forge networking proxy to allow requests out to that domain. All right. So the last thing we need to do is to actually write the code for our forecast action. Now, to keep things organized, I'm just going to create a little Forge directory and then move my manifest in there. And we'll create a new forecast JavaScript function. Now, I've cheated a little bit here because this app is built on Atlassian Connect Express, which runs on Node.js. And the Forge runtime is also a vanilla Node.js runtime. So we can actually just go and copy a forecast library function I have from my Atlassian Connect app over into my Forge app. And that should be deployable once we've set that little Open Weather API key. So I'll just set the environment variable using the Forge variables command. Just got that set in my environment there. And I'll use the encrypted flag since it's a secret. And now we're ready to deploy and install the new version of our app. Okay. So our lint is going to run again. No problems with our little forecasting function there. And we're deployed and live. So the last thing to do is to install the new version of the app. Because we've requested the ability to share data with OpenWeatherMap, that's going to prompt me to confirm that I consent to that. That'll be very similar to the marketplace experience of a administrator installing that app as well. All right, so now we should be ready to go, and hopefully a slightly more exciting demo this time. So we'll jump back over to Confluence and delete our boring weather table. And now we're going to replace it with some Gen AI magic, courtesy of our new Forge agent. So if we open up the little agent palette and select the Weather Forecaster app and type in a prompt. So let's ask it to forecast the weather in a table as well. And we'll ask it for temperatures, maybe rainfall, and since it's an offsite, we'll ask it for some good times for coffee runs as well. And then let's use emojis for weather conditions, and we'll also give it a bit of latitude to make it a really engaging experience for users viewing the page. And there we have it. So that table there was generated entirely by that Rovo agent based on that small amount of code and context that we gave it. Everything else was inside of the magic of the LLM. And you can see it's even recommended some good times for coffee runs for our offsite. One other kind of cool thing here is you may have noticed that we didn't actually specify where the offsite is taking place. The Rovo agents actually consumed that context from the page, figured out the longitude and latitude coordinates of Sydney by itself, and then gone off and made a forecast based on that context. So the LLMs are super powerful just by their nature. So in less than 10 minutes, we've adopted a Forge manifest, we've implemented a new Rovo agent and action, all from our existing Atlassian Connect app. Our old macro is still running on the Connect framework, but fully integrated with Forge, and we can start picking up those capabilities. So the migration pathway I just demoed has been generally available since October last year, and based on our analysis of existing Atlassian Connect descriptors on the marketplace, we believe that 99% of Connect apps can now start adopting Forge. So this provides a practical and incremental way for you to adopt Forge features from your existing Atlassian Connect apps. And as many of you have heard, we are turning a bit of a corner in the ecosystem. We don't have firm dates yet, but in the future we will be phasing out support for Atlassian Connect, which means that now is an excellent time to start getting familiar and building on top of the Forge platform. And we're starting to see more and more apps transition over to Forge. How many of you have tried the manifest conversion process? Fantastic, maybe about a quarter of the room? Well, there's going to be some great sessions at Atlas Camp here. Julian Wolf from Draw.io is going to be giving a talk about how they migrated their largest Confluence app over to Forge later today. Highly recommend that session. And I do want to highlight another recent success story. Quirk's dependency manager for Jira has migrated over to Forge, and they've actually fully transitioned away from their Connect infrastructure as well. So they're running fully natively on the Forge platform. And they were able to complete that transition with zero downtime for customers, and now they're set up to get all of that new goodness coming to the Forge platform. So because once apps are on Forge, one of the key value propositions is that partners can start to host sensitive data inside Atlassian's environment on Forge's storage offerings, which I'll be talking a little bit more about in just a second. And Forge unlocks all of these new capabilities like Rovo, and will continue to expand those over time. But we know that some partners have faced a bit of uncertainty when it comes to migrating apps across from Connect to Forge. One of the top blockers that we've heard is data residency for Connect on Forge apps. Up until relatively recently, Connect apps that supported data residency couldn't go through the Forge manifest conversion process that I just demonstrated. But great news, we're knocking down those obstacles. Pinning for Forge data residency is now fully supported in preview, so you can use that in production today. And we've almost got realm migrations in the bag, so that'll be coming very soon as well. So if you're one of the small number of Connect apps that supports data residency realm migrations, you'll also be able to go through that manifest conversion process in the near future. Also, some very exciting news. We're just about to close out another common soft blocker, but a real concern for marketplace partners adopting the Forge manifest. So today, if you did it right this moment, moving to Forge requires listing a new version on the marketplace. And that conversion process actually created a major version. So that meant that customers would need to go and manually approve the update to the Forge version of your app. And we know some partners prefer not to ship or minimize the number of major versions they ship because that means customers have to go through that process. So with some changes that are coming later this week, upgrading to Forge will become a minor upgrade. So that means that update, when you push it to the marketplace, will seamlessly flow out to all of your customers with no manual approval required. Fantastic. The team have been working really hard on that. So we'll have to share the applause with them. And finally, we're also addressing another common concern about apps going past the Connect to Forge process and actually trying to build or rebuild natively on the Forge platform. And that's storage. So traditionally, Forge supported key value storage. Last Atlas Camp, we unveiled the ability to do custom entities with complex queries. But we know that a relational database is really important for a lot of our partners, particularly if you're coming over from Connect. And so we've just wrapped up the Forge SQL EAP. So that closed out last week. Thank you so much for all of the partners who kicked the tires and gave us feedback. We're actually in the process of rolling out Forge SQL to developer preview this week. So within a day or two, you should be able to add an SQL property to your Forge manifest, and it'll automatically provision it into your Forge developer environment for you. Speaking of storage, anyone see the Forge changelog last week? We've also just launched an EAP for Forge object storage. So you'll be able to handle and store large objects natively on the Forge platform. So if you're curious about the EAP, swing by the Forge booth or have a look on the developer changelog and you can sign up and take it for a spin. Alongside object storage, our product and engineering teams have been hard at work getting new features live in time for you to use them in the workshops this week. Hot off the presses, we've just shipped support for Confluence bodied macros, which was a long-awaited feature request for macros in Confluence. We've also given you the ability to increase the timeout for async functions. So you can now specify in your manifest a period of up to 15 minutes. That's in preview now, so you can use it officially. We have also shipped support for custom UI and UIKit-powered macro config editing experiences, so you can get away from the kind of drab field views and build really rich experiences on top of it. And we have had a lot of feedback from partners using scheduled triggers that the minimum period of an hour wasn't frequent enough. So we've just shipped support for 5-minute triggers into developer preview as of last week. And we're also working on bringing over 2 of Connect's most popular features to natively work on the Forge platform. Now, you can go through the Connect on Forge process today and use both user impersonation and dynamic modules with your existing Connect modules. But we're also going to bring these over to work natively on the Forge platform as well. So user impersonation will probably be in the second half of this year, and dynamic modules we're actually bringing forward to hopefully ship next quarter. So with these two, well, anyone who's used these in Connect know that they can bring a lot of flexibility and power to your existing apps. So since we last took the stage in Copenhagen for Atlas Camp in 2023, we've checked feature request after feature request off the list. And each one of these line items represents a new tool in your toolbox that you can use to add value to your apps. But there's another side to the coin, and that's how discoverers try, buy, and discover your apps on the marketplace. So let's take a look at a few of the new features coming to the Atlassian marketplace. So your marketplace listing is the front door to your business, and the recent marketplace redesign now makes it easier for customers to land on your doorstep. Looking ahead, the marketplace team are making key investments in 3 areas: personalization, promoted listings, and contextual recommendations. Some of these enhancements are organic, like improvements to search rankings, but others will allow partners to specifically boost visibility of their listings during key launches and campaigns, like promoted listings on the marketplace homepage and other platforms as well. We're currently collecting data to fine-tune this experience for both customers and partners. By surfacing the right apps to the right user at the right time, we don't just increase visibility for apps, we actually help customers find a solution at the time that they're ready to buy. So let me give you a quick example. Today, about 16% of marketplace app purchases are driven by peer-to-peer recommendations in the Atlassian community. So customers will go to the community when they have a problem they need to solve, and they're ready to find a solution. So today, customers do a search, read through posts, and then typically click through to a link that someone's posted to the marketplace. But what if we could surface the right app listing in context? In the future, we're planning to bring the marketplace direct to customers at exactly the right moment when they need it. We're also providing flexible packaging options that allow partners to create tailored offerings for different customer segments. Under a single marketplace listing, partners can now offer both a standard edition and an advanced edition of their apps. This gives partners the ability to create upsell opportunities for customers who want advanced app features. So App Editions is now in an early access program. If you're interested in participating, come swing by the marketplace booth and have a chat to the team, and we'll get you enrolled. But if you have multiple apps that work better together, soon you'll be able to create app bundles for your customers. So this lets you to sell an app as a curated collection instead of as a set of individual SKUs. This allows partners to create more value for your customers by offering packaged solutions, and it gives customers a chance to discover apps that they might not have otherwise picked up off the shelf. So we're targeting a pilot for app bundles next quarter, and there should be a broader early access program coming toward the end of the year. And we're not just giving partners like yourselves more ways to package apps, we're also expanding the ways that you can price apps in the marketplace as well. Until now, partners and customers have been boxed into a single pricing model, and it's based on the user tier of the parent product that the app is installed into. So this one-size-fits-all pricing was simple, but it does limit the ability for partners to create strategies for specific types of customers and target markets. One big challenge arises when a customer goes to buy an app. Imagine if you have a QA team that wants to use a test management app in Jira, and your QA team is 20 people, but your enterprise company is 20,000. Often in these scenarios, the customer tells the QA team, look, I'm really sorry, we can't justify this investment, you'll just have to do without. So with flexible pricing, we now have a model that sets us up for success in the future, and hopefully will help unlock new growth for our valuable partners. So partners can now create pricing models that reflect the value that customers get from their apps and how they use them. And it's not just users and usage either. Apps that use a lot of compute resources, for example, or have other expenses attached to them, can now effectively pass those costs onto the customers where that makes sense. And as partners build for the next opportunity in our marketplace, they'll have a full range of pricing options to drive growth for your businesses. And that's not the only investment we're making to help partners right-size their licensing to customer needs. Multi-instance licensing will also allow partners to charge based on unique users across all of the product instances that that customer owns, not per site. The way that it works today can sometimes result in double billing for the customer. This ensures that customers are paying for actual usage, which in turn increases customer satisfaction and should reduce churn and lost sales. So combined with packaging options like app editions and bundles, partners will now have a lot more flexibility in how you grow your business with sophisticated go-to-market strategies. But how do you decide what packaging and pricing decisions make sense for you? That's where the funnel insights and marketing attribution reports come in. Has anyone used funnel insights or marketing attribution? A few people? Fantastic. Well, if you haven't, when you make updates to your app or experiment with new marketing strategies, you often want to understand the impact of what those changes made. And so the Funnel Insights report in Marketplace lets you examine the different phases that customers move through as they go through the purchase process, so you can make smarter, data-driven decisions. And you can combine these insights with the Marketing Attributions report, which lets you see which campaigns and marketing channels actually brought customers to your app listing, which gives you more insight into what are the factors influencing your customers' behavior. So be sure to check out tomorrow's breakout session on the topic to learn more about how to use these insights. Pretty sure it'll be recorded as well if you want to pass it on to your marketing teams at home. But hopefully these reports will give you a lot more valuable insights into your customer behavior. Speaking of making data-driven decisions, we've also solved another long-standing feature request for the marketplace. So the licensing report now includes data for apps that have always been free. So this will hopefully help you understand essential metrics for your free apps, like the size of your user base and your churn rate, and will hopefully make it a little bit easier to make critical decisions like whether you should convert that to a paid app. So as you can see, 2025 is packed with updates that help marketplace partners and all app builders do more on our platform and build businesses around the awesome apps that you're all creating. So now I'm going to hand it back to Kartik to go deeper on how we're serving an incredibly important segment of our business, our largest and most complex enterprise customers. Thank you very much.
How cool was that? I mean, all those features there make me want to get back to getting coding. So this is really cool. All right. So thank you, Tim. Now, that brings me to the topic of this morning, right? This must be familiar to a lot of you. How many of you here are focusing on migrating from data center to cloud? Show of hands, just quick. Oh, okay, not bad. Not bad. All right. But every time we talk about moving to cloud, it presents with a set of challenges. And the reason being is cloud is a completely different paradigm compared to what we've been used to in the past. All right? Each cloud app needs to be carefully vetted by customers. Now think about it for a second. All right? When things are running inside my data center, as a customer, I've got complete control of everything. When I get into cloud and when I start having my data, the data that I'm generating, that my users are generating, happens to go sit someplace else, that is a major compliance faux pas. All right? Especially those who have dealt with GDPR know exactly what I'm talking about. All right? Now, many customers have also gone ahead and heard that Forge allows for applications and their data to run within the Atlassian perimeter. Now, as easy or as simple as that may sound, most of you know, it's not that simple. All right? One of the things that we've actually worked on significantly is to help folks like yourselves to make sure that you can get the right kind of certification based on your data egress posture. All right? So, one, the customers need to go ahead and be able to go match their data posture in general, so not allow any data outside of the Atlassian platform. Provide data residency, as Tim alluded to as well. And the important verification. So besides the fact that you say that you're not egressing data, they still need some kind of a verification from Atlassian to say the fact that that's not the case. Well, how can we make this simple? So we've been taking a lot of time this past several months to make Forge do that for you, all right? Not all Forge app obviously meet that designation, but this is one of the things that lets customers know. When a customer sees that badge, they know that it is running within the Atlassian perimeter, okay? So that's the new badge that we've got, which says runs on Atlassian, okay? And to date, close to 411 apps are already certified to run on Atlassian today. And 135 more apps are eligible to be able to meet that criteria. So how do you do this? Okay, we've actually built a Forge command, so you can take your app, run this command called Forge eligibility. It will go ahead and check the eligibility and say, okay, the app is egressing data. Now you go back to your manifest file, take that piece of code, remove that, all right? Run it again. And there you have it. And what's cool is it already updates the posture directly on Marketplace. All right, but jokes apart, we have been working on trying to go make this entire process as simple as possible. All right? The mere fact that you're able to get that badge without having to go talk to some certification authority and say, oh, do I get that? Do I qualify for the badge or not? Is a significant step forward. All right? Now, remember Tim mentioned Brad Quirk? Well, not only are they completely migrated, but they're also runs an Atlassian success story. Now, just to kind of bring everything together as we get to the end, we talked about customers, okay? About how we're empowering their success and making that the center of what we are building together, all right? Our platform connects both technology and business teams to achieve better results, in some cases, transformative results. And the key thing here is the fact that extensibility is allowing developers to build the appropriate set of tools and solutions tailored to their needs. This is that vertical aspect that I was alluding to early on. All right, and remember Brad? Well, he got inspired from everything that Andrew did, all right? So the other chapter to Brad's story is the fact that he went ahead and built his own app on Rovo, and then decided that, all the list of pet peeves. How many of you have already got a list of those, like who exhibit Brad? We've got all these things you wanted to go solve for. There's like a laundry list of things that you never got to. Well, Brad had the same list, all right? Actually, I still have mine, and I'm actually checking them all off, all right? But Brad decided that he was going to go ahead and solve for that using Rovo altogether. And he's been able to go ahead and publish some on the marketplace as well. But that's what it is. It's inspiration, you code, and you forge ahead, all right? So anyone with an idea can now go ahead and create an app, all right? Now, how many of you were here participating in Codegeist, our annual hackathon? First of all, thank you for your participation. It was amazing. I had fun watching some of the demos and videos and some of the pitches that were really quirky. We are actually having a separate session later in Atlas Camp. We'll be talking about some of the Codegeist submissions, but I'm here to talk about some of the winners. All right? And if you are in the room, please stand up so everyone can clap. All right? So first place for Teamwork Foundations. Images for Confluence. All right? For Exec Strategy and Planning, first place, Campaign Analyzer. Is the team from Campaign Analyzer here? There we go. Thank you. All right, High Velocity Service Management, first place. Runbook Rabbit. This was an awesome demo. Thank you. All right, World-Class Software Development, first place. Compass Whiteboard. Anybody from there? All right. Congratulations to all winners. We'll be looking at some of the additional submissions later on at the Codegeist event. All right. Again, we've got 2 full days of Atlas Camp. All right. Enjoy the session, exchange ideas. We also have workshops later in the week as well. All right. So I and my fellow teammates are all looking forward to engaging with you and getting feedback. So go out there, absorb, share knowledge, and amplify. Thank you all.